it's not easy to maintain the road, stay on the road and keep going where we're going once we have made the decision. So it's bear and endure, and disillusion comes up. Lots of things happen, and the worst being, I think, the worst being doubt, and doubt is the enemy of faith. And not faith in the God we used to have faith in, but faith in who we really are and what we're here for. But it's the enemy of faith is definitely doubt. And then once you let it come in, it's very harmful.
And what can you do when you're in doubt?
Just shoot it out. You cannot let it. But that means there's some doubt in yourself. Otherwise, it could not harm you. So it's a lack of faith. And how do we build up faith? Would be the question I would ask. It's by keeping in touch as much as possible. That means all the time, keeping in touch with my soul. Aspiration. This is where I'm going. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is my reason for being incarnated on this planet. And don't let that go. Hang on to that, which is reality. All the rest is illusion. So this is really the key. And these days are not easy. It's tough. Yes, the war is not only outside, it's a very strong war inside of each one of us, definitely.
Wow, that sounds great. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share personal, or should we begin talking about society?
Maybe we can start talking about society.
Okay.
Which is the reflection of what's going on inside, with lots of wars going on all over the planet. Yes, this is what we create, and this is what we manifest and we see. So we cannot change people waging war, but we can stop war inside of us, and we can stop contributing to war, which is what we do as being citizens. We think we're good citizens when we obey the laws and we pay taxes and we make many babies. Well, that is not what it is. We, as being a good citizen, is a good slave. It's deepening us. We're getting deeper and deeper into slavery. Society is just a manifestation of who we are inside. But I cannot change society. I can only change myself. It's like a mirror. Society is a mirror. And if I see something in the mirror that I dislike, I will not try to rub it off or to change the mirror. I will change myself, or what's reflected into the mirror. So the same thing with society. Society is merely a mere mirror. And there's no way trying to change society, trying to change government, trying to change the systems, trying to change anything. The problem is not with the mirror. The problem is with the individuals inside ourselves. And this is what we have to change.
I see. And in your book, you talk a lot about the individual and the sovereign individual and how society is not helping us. Do you actually say that we don't need a society, that we don't need a kind of organization of people?
All right, we'll answer that first with a definition of society. Society does not exist per se. If I say I want to meet Mr. or Mrs. Society, you have no one to introduce me to. Because it doesn't exist. Society is a group of individuals, but reality is the individual. And the only one with the real power is the individual. How come that we are slaves, slaves of our master, which is the state? The citizens are slaves, and their master is the state or government or whatever. Well, as long as there'll be separation between authority and obedience, this separation will exist, and there'll be, of course, fear, because I'm afraid as a slave, individual slave, I am afraid of my master. Is he going to punish me? Is he going to hit me? Is he going to abuse of me? Anything. So I'm afraid. I live in fear. And that brings, of course, that brings war between authority and obedience. This is what we're experiencing. So when you're asking me, do we need a government? Well, the problem is, as long as we will not become conscious of who we really are, we are the authority and the obedience. We are, well, where's the authority? The authority is within my soul, my eidesic soul. This is where the supreme authority is. This is who I am, really. My body obeys, can obey, I have the choice. This is what free will is all about. My body has the possibility to obey either external authorities or the inner authority. And this is the whole challenge. This is what humanity is going through right now, is a transfer of power where we still believe in external authorities. Should they be political with the government? Should they be spiritual with religions or spiritualities, or even science? Just think of science. People still believe in doctors. Should it be in family? We still believe in family, and we keep making babies when we're creators and creatrix. So we're still in this mode of believing in external authorities, and of course that brings war between the parents and the children, the government and the people. Between the doctors and the patients, there's war all over because there's separation between authority and obedience. This is, the separation is the only problem. So let's stop separation. How can I stop separation between authority and obedience? It will come to an end when I realize that the ultimate and the only real authority is within. The supreme authority, which we always thought was outside, the supreme authority is within. And then I have, this is what free will is all about. Am I going to obey this inner authority or keep obeying the external authority? So this is the choice humanity has right now. And since we're still in the old illusionary world, the world of illusion, of being poor creatures and that the Creator is outside. We are in separation, and this is what we manifest. The society we live in now, which is nothing but hell on earth. It is definitely hell on earth, and that's the manifestation, the consequence of this separation between authority and obedience. So we have to first thing become aware of who we are, and then number two, make a transfer of power from the ego, from the external authorities and whoever they are, from the ego to the soul. And this is when personocratia starts her path, her journey. It's with this decision. And as long as I don't make the decision, I just go, I go with the waves, and here a little bit here, a little bit there, but I go nowhere. But the moment I make this decision of, yes, I know who I am, and this is where I'm going. I will become, I want to become, it's not a desire, it's a decision. I will become who I am. And when I make this decision very clearly and I just go for it, then I start the journey. The journey starts, and it doesn't mean that everything will go easily and everything will happen, nice things will happen. No, it's got to be without expectation. I give full power to my soul. I give free rein to my soul, not knowing what's going to happen. It may sound terrible. It may sound terrible at the beginning, and it is, because it's totally the opposite of what we have learned to do in the past. We always learn to be, to foresee the things, to get prepared, to do prevention, to control our future. This is what we've been taught. And it's the other way around, 180 degree change, whereas I do not control anything anymore. I give my free will, I give it the will, the will, I give my free will, I give it to the soul. So I do not want anything anymore. I want what the soul wants, but I don't know what it is. I know that the soul wants me to become who I am. That's her job. But I don't know how she's going to manage to get me there. But when I give her the wheel. It's like driving the car. I stop driving the car. I just sit in the back of the car, and I let free rein to the soul to drive the car and take me where the soul wants me to go, not knowing at all what it's going to be like, what's going to happen. And I accept whatever it's going to be. So this is the key. This is really the key to this transformation of consciousness. Is it worth it? It's not easy at the beginning because it's such a change. But the more and more I move on that road, on that path, the easier it gets. It's hard to understand that. But this is the experience, and I can share this with you because this is my experience. It's not something I've read or whatever. It becomes very easy. Life becomes joyful and easy with that. Whatever happens, I just look at it as a spectator. Oh, this is what Idessa created. Oh, interesting. It may not be comfortable, and very often it is not. But I don't fight with it anymore. I don't want to prevent it. I don't want to change it. That is what it is. But there's a very fine line between passivity, being passive, being inertia, if I could say so, and giving my power to my soul. There's a fine line. Remain very active. I'm not passive. I remain very active, but under the control, the governance of the soul, of my soul. But is it worth it? Definitely, no doubt. And the more and more I go on this road, the more I go on this path, the easier it gets. So I'm totally. I did it when I started 20 years ago. I did it because I had faith. I had faith in who I am. Either I am, it's very simple, either the ultimate authority is outside or it's inside, one or the other. So I was convinced that it was inside. This is when I wrote The Medical Mafia. And once I'm convinced that the ultimate authority is inside, and not only inside me, but inside everybody and everything. There's no separation between the creatrix and the creation and the creature. So once I was convinced of this, it was not a conviction, it was a certainty that's much stronger. This is what faith is all about. And I had faith in who I was. Then it was obvious that I had to believe, to behave as such. I could not keep behaving. I could not keep my old world behavior. So that's how I started changing. So that means being very active, not passive at all. Sometimes there's a temptation to say, all right, I'll let go, I'll let the reins, to the soulful reins of the soul, and I do nothing. No. I remain very active, but under the governance of the soul.
I see. So what do you say that if we don't need a government, are people ready for that? That from tomorrow, no more laws, no more policemen, no more legal background? What would happen? Won't there be an anarchy?
It will not happen until we change. Let me explain. As long as we are, as long as we're under the external government, and whoever that is, politically it's the government, but it's our desires, it's the culture, it's what the other people think. I always come from the outside. The outside decides what I do or what I want. As long as I'm in the external control, we need a government, definitely. We need one, and we have one, and we create one. So we are not our own masters. But the moment I realize who I am, that changes automatically, and then we do not need masters anymore. The master is inside, and the soul will never tell me to harm anybody. Never. So we do not need government, laws, justice, whatever they call justice. We don't need any of those anymore. Definitely not. So this is where we're heading. But in the meantime, in order to really become, to really make the decision for that change, we have to suffocate. And I think we have not suffocated enough yet. And that's why the New World Order is a blessing in that way, that it brings us into a suffocating situation that one day we will say, all right, okay, I give up. All right, I can't. I'm going to die if I don't change. You know, we have to reach this call to reach this point where we will just call for something else. We're not there yet. We're trying to fix this society and improve, and improve this, you know, those systems. I call it putting air conditioning into hell. You know, you won't change. Hell will still be burning, even though you put air conditioning in it. So there's no point. We're trying to improve a caterpillar when we're not here to become a good caterpillar that runs faster or is more powerful. We're here to become butterflies. In order to become a butterfly, the caterpillar has to die and go in the cocoon and just melt down and disappear. And this is what we resist. And this is the unpleasant, if I can say so, unpleasant part, and fearful. And this is what makes us so fearful, is to let go of our old tools, survival tools. Should it be family, culture, should it be our little comfort? We still have enough to eat. We still have enough. Some people don't, but as long as I do, I'm not prompted to change and let that go. It doesn't mean that we're going to get poor and no. It means that we let go of the attachment to being a good mother. For women, for instance, having children. Right now, it's not time to have children, and for men to have a lot of sex or make a lot of money. All those attributes that men go for, and women go for children and family. All this is that's the old world. But we've got to make the decision. When I make the decision to go under the governance of my soul, it means that I let go of those old tools. And this is what's hard. But again, to be clear, so that my answer to your question is clear, yes, we are going to live without government, without laws. We don't need laws when we're under the governance of the soul. No government, no laws, eventually no money, but that's later on. And it will be paradise on earth. But you can imagine with what's going on right now, it's hell on earth like it has never been. And it has to go to as far as that and even further. We're not out yet. And so it requires a suffocation. It's just unbearable. I can't live this life anymore. Well, before committing suicide, just remember there is a solution. And the solution is transformation of consciousness. So don't try to change the systems, the institutions, the governments, your parents, your family. Don't try to change your doctor. No, don't try to change anything. Let the old world be on its own and make the decision to become who you really are and behave as such. Did I answer your question?
Absolutely.
So keep, I'm not talking about hope, keep faith in who you are, and it cannot be anything else. When I realize who I am, the ultimate supreme being, well, it cannot be anything else than paradise on earth. And they go together. So, but paradise on earth will be a manifestation. That's society. Society is a manifestation. So I can change myself, and that will bring paradise on earth about. It will come. It will come. Oh yes, but don't wait for a savior to do it for you. Only you can do it. And when I say you, I'm talking about individuals. There's no savior. We are our own savior. We have the choice, free will. I have the choice to remain in the old world of illusion and just die with it, because it's going to die. It's going to go away. Or I have the choice to go with it and die, or to stop this old world of illusion and become who I am and behave as such, and just create the new species. It's a new species we are creating right now. So it's a transition between an old world and a new world. The old world of illusion and the new world of truth. It's a revolution. It's a revolution of consciousness. No war, no weapons, none of those. We don't need it. We have to make the revolution inside us.
And what can I do? I mean, if the rest of society is not yet ready to follow their soul, and I do want to follow my soul, I still push into the barriers that they created. Their unconsciousness and their systems to create that unconsciousness.
I can do it without, even though the society is definitely in the world of illusion still, and pushing very strongly to hanging on to it, to maintain it. But I can be on my own and obey my soul and still live in this world. Definitely, they cannot stop me. Nobody can stop me from being who I am and obeying my soul. Definitely not.
Can you give a few examples? How can I obey my soul in still an unconscious society?
In every situation, let's take an example. The Father's Day is coming. I want to do a web capsule on this, but my computer just blew up. So, but I'm going to do it with you.
Okay.
Father's Day is coming up. What is this? Am I going to do like everybody does, which is making a party, giving a gift, buying a gift, doing something for my dad, and telling him how much I love him, and being grateful? Am I going to do that? And this is what majority will do. Well, if I do not believe in family, because again, we talked about it last time, family is a herd. It's an animal herd. But we are creators and creatrix. We create ourselves. So this is our animality that make us remain in the family herd. But there's no father and there's no mother. They gave birth to me in the old world, in the world of illusion, but that is not the truth. The truth is I'm a creatrix and I create myself. So when I know this, I stop celebrating the Father's Day. It just doesn't make sense. It's an old tradition, and it's not even an old tradition. It's a commercial day. But despite all this, like the Mother's Day, those are commercial days. But again, we're celebrating something that doesn't exist. Same thing as celebrating Christmas. It doesn't exist. So all this is a concrete example of being different. So I can say, well, I thank you, but I will not participate in this celebration. I will not. And I tell people why. I do not believe in this anymore. I believe in who I am, and it's not a belief again, it's a certainty. I know. Certainty says I know. It's just, there's no reason. This is reality. This is the way it is. So I know who I am, and I know who you all are. We're all the same spiritual, the same spirit, creative spirit, supreme authority, supreme being. This is who we are. And I don't believe in being a father or a mother. Those are roles that we have played in the old world of illusion. But it's over, as far as I'm concerned. So I will not participate. But I can invite this man who used to be my father in the old world. I can invite him for a dinner or a restaurant, or meet him, or anything, or do nothing at that time. But at another time, I may feel like, if I feel like it, if it tells me, my soul tells me, well, go and meet with your father, and meet with him and say, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a baby and providing me with a physical body for me to travel on this path of becoming who I am. I needed a car, for the trip, for the journey. I needed a car, and that was the body you provided me with, and I thank you. And that's all. But we don't need to be part of the celebration and the party and the gifts and all that. It's all false. It's all false. So this is a simple example where we can behave like according to who we are, to our new consciousness in the old world, and we don't go to jail for that. But we are scared of doing it because we want to remain in the herd. We want the rest of the family to love us, to keep us within the family. We don't want to lose our family. And what's behind this? Well, the fear of being alone, the fear of solitude. And those are old animalistic remembrance. It's when we were animal, and this is what we still have in our body. We know that the one that leaves the herd is going to be the prey of the predator. So we don't want to leave. It's dangerous to leave the herd. But that was for animals, and we're not animals. We are sovereign individuals. We are spiritual entities. We're souls in a physical body. So we're not animals anymore. Well, we're not animals, period. And this is what we have, this old world of habits and culture, and all that stuff that we have to let go of. So that's an example. But there are plenty, just in my daily life. Another thing, keep in mind, for instance, keep in mind that the basic separation, the only problem is separation. And every time I feel some kind of a confrontation with anybody, should it be as little things as I'm right and you're wrong, or the other way around, right or wrong, and it's always domination. There's one dominant and one dominated. This is the basic separation of humanity. So stop it. Stop this game of dominant and dominated. This is the typical 100 times a day situation we're in. Stop it immediately. I'm not right, you're not wrong. Where is the truth? Where is the truth? What am I afraid of? whenever I'm in this kind of situation, every time I'm in separation, it's because I'm afraid of something. I'm afraid of something. What am I afraid of? Otherwise, I would not want to be right or wrong. I would not want to dominate the other or refuse to be dominated. I would not. So if I am in this situation, it's because I'm afraid. So go and feel the fear, find the fear and heal it. And the fear always comes from separation. I have forgotten who I am. So I see myself as a poor sheep or a slave, and I see the other one as a master, and I fight. The other one has the authority, and I have to obey the authority, and I'm not well with that situation. No, nobody is comfortable with separation, and we are aiming. The soul is aiming as at becoming who we are, and of course, freedom. We want to be free. But freedom is not doing what I want, when I want, and how I want. No, freedom is the choice. Free will is the choice that we have to obey the external authorities or to obey our inner supreme authority, which is the soul. So this is the type of situation that I can meet 100 times a day, and we're always in this situation of dominant, dominated. So I can stop it immediately as I see it. I stop it. What am I afraid of? If I get a little bit worried, if I get anxious, if I get angry, any kind of emotion that I feel or I manifest is an opportunity. It triggers to a fear underlying it. So we have hundreds of opportunities every day in our daily life to become who we are.
You mentioned that I can either obey my fears on Father's Day or obey my soul, but the action is still the same. How can I discern towards myself or towards other people? Can I see it in others if they are acting in fear or in acting in their soul? Since the action is the same, I still had a dinner with my father.
No, I won't have a dinner. I'm sorry, I wasn't maybe clear on this. I will not participate in the party, whatever it is. And I will not celebrate the Father's Day or my father. But it does not prevent me from having a good relationship with my father anytime during the year. But I will not behave like it is expected from me to behave on the Father's Day. I will not be part of the party. So my action will be totally different.
I see. So acting as I am expected is always towards the system and not towards my soul. Celebrating on Father's Day, giving gifts at Christmas, or celebrating birthdays?
Definitely.
Is it not possible to follow my soul on those days as well?
Well, I follow my soul. My soul will not tell me. It's interesting. Who is telling me what to do? Here we are, back to the question. Who's talking to me? Is it my soul or my ego? And again, there are little tricks, if I can say so, little devices that we can use. The soul, first of all, the ego speaks loudly. The ego speaks loudly because I have to call who's speaking inside me. Who's speaking, telling me to go or not to go? Who's speaking? And the ego is loud and always gives explanations, whereas the soul is soft, but very clear, with no explanation. The soul never tells you why. It just tells you very clearly, do this or don't do that, but no explanation. Whereas the ego will say, oh, it's my dad will be so glad. It's a nice party for him. He's going to be so happy, and I hope the whole family will be there. If I'm not part of it, there'll be someone missing. It will make him sad. Then just let the ego go, and it can go. So no explanation. The soul gives no explanation, never. So always question, is it my ego or my soul that wants me to go or not to go? Definitely.
How do I know the difference? If it is my inside rebel, the black sheep that says, no, I won't do what anyone tells me to do, and I will not celebrate Father's Day, I will not give gifts on Christmas? Or is it truly my soul? If the actions are again the same, I don't buy presents.
Just the way you said it, I could feel the rebel, and the rebel is always the ego. The rebel, this guy that I called my father, never behaved like a father, never, it was not the father I would have liked to have or whatever. I mean, I still have resentment or whatever, then I will be emotional about it. Well, if I'm emotional, it's always the ego. The soul has no emotion, but it's clear, it's true. It's very different. You can feel it. Just the way you said it, it was obvious. So it was obvious. We have to become vigilant and listen to what's going on inside us. And if I have the slightest emotion, should it be, oh yes, I love my father, or I hate this guy, it's the same thing. It's emotion. So this is my ego talking. Whereas when I ask my soul, and my soul, I listen, and the soul speaks, the soul has no emotion. The soul will tell you, you do this or you do that, without telling you why, how, nothing. No explanation. Just tells you, and doesn't speak loud. The other one say, oh no, I'm not going to celebrate, or oh yes, I love it. Oh, I love it so much. I want to be part of the party. One or the other. This is not neutral. And that is always controlled by the ego. Whereas the soul, no, will soul say, this is what I hear inside. It will be very clear. So it's not what I do that is, there's no recipe. You should do this or you should not do that. No. It's always let the soul decide. And I will do what my soul tells me. And my soul may tell me, you go there. I say, oh, come on, I won't be part. I don't want to. My ego says, no, I don't want to be part of this party. My soul may tell me, yes, you go. You attend this party. Because the soul knows where we're going. And that may be one step into my evolution. Am I clear about this?
Yes, definitely.
Because we want rules. I can do this. I cannot do that. This is what I have to do. This is what I shouldn't do. No. Obey the soul. Period.
I see. Can you tell me a recent example when you did something smaller in your life that was completely contradictory to what you thought you should do or what needs to be done? Something every day? I mean, every day, well, something smaller.
I'm trying to, it happens regularly, but, one day, a few years ago, one of my sisters turned 60. Mm-hmm. And it it was very important for her, and I just went to the party that was organized by her friends, and I went. I told me to go. I don't know why. I don't know why. I still don't know why today, but I went. So even though I don't believe in birthdays, I don't celebrate birthdays because it's nonsense. It's just one step toward the grave, toward the death. It's one more year towards death in the old world. But in the new world, it's something else. Because in the new world, it is not a birthday or not a birthday. It's just what my soul tells me to do. So it's totally different. But I remember, for instance, it's interesting you asked me this question because yesterday it came up to my mind. I just remembered that day, and I had made a passport. She wanted to travel, something. I had made up a passport or something. I just came back to my mind yesterday. So this is an example of doing something that is not like what I should do. Then there's no should do. It's listening to my soul, and why did my soul, and I'm pretty sure, maybe it was my ego, but I'm pretty sure it was my soul. And why did my soul tell me to go to attend this party? I don't know. I don't know. And very often we don't know. It's only years later that we find out why we did something, or our soul told us to do something or not do something. It's very often it's years later. I'm talking about, sometimes many years later that we find out, and very often we do not find out. It doesn't matter. It's also giving up understanding. And this is a big issue again. Giving up understanding. I want to understand it. Whenever I ask a question, for instance, why? This is always the ego. The ego wants to control, so he wants to know why. Why is this going on? And why is this happening? Why would I go? Or why would I not go? Would I not go? It's always why. Why did, whereas the soul does not give an explanation, and the soul will never ask why. No. When the soul talks, there's no explanation, no why, no nothing. No consequence, no reason, no, none of those. That's, again, another good tool. The moment I ask why, it's the ego speaking, always. So make it shut up and call your soul again, and I want to listen to my soul.
I see. I feel I have reached an end to my questions. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Well, I would just like to talk about, I'll say a few words about faith. There's nothing that will happen in my life if I do not have faith. What is faith? Faith is an influence from it comes from the grace, it comes from the supreme. It's like how would I say, lightning from the supreme. It just yes, penetrates and gives like a blow on the soul. The soul is a fire, is a fire, and faith is it just blows on the fire, so it makes it bigger and stronger. It's an aspiration. There's more aspiration. You know, fire always goes up in aspiration. That's it. We're always talking about inside. Goes stronger in aspiration. So cultivate the faith in who I am. The first thing, before we can even make a decision, we have to become aware of who we are, and we've been taught from our first day on this planet, we've been taught that we are poor creatures, slaves, nothing, that we need masters. We are slaves. We were born slaves, and we remain in slavery. And it's time that we become who we are, the master and the slave, both together. We obey our own master that is inside us, which is the soul. But we have to believe in this soul. We have to believe that this soul is the supreme being. That the supreme being is not outside. It is inside, within everything. I remember when I was giving workshops in Hungary, and your father was participating when he was still alive. And one day I explained the difference between the inside and the outside. We always think that there's separation, and even with the observed, the quantum physics, with the observer and the observed, again, there's separation. And I remember I crawled on the floor and just went into the observed, because the observer is within the observed. And same thing, the spirit, the creative spirit is within the creative spirit is within the creature. It is not outside. And this is what faith is all about. Faith is I would say, we cannot move, we cannot proceed without faith. So I would put emphasis on this, because doubt, which is its counterpart and its enemy. We started with this. We talked about this in the beginning of our conversation. The enemy is doubt. We doubt. We do not believe. We do not believe in who we are. We want to believe in others. And this is how we keep giving our power away to external people. We give it to politicians. We know that they're liars and but they're cruel individuals, but we give them our power. We give our power to our family, our power to bankers, and our money. We give our power and our money away because we have forgotten who we are. So faith in who we are, now that we remember, or we're told, or we remember who we are, we have to cultivate the faith and make this the soul burn intensely towards becoming who we are. This is what I would wanted to share with you before we come to an end.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Guy. Thank you for your time and your availability, and I hope soon we will be able to talk again.
It's been my pleasure, Zach.
See you.
See you.